Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL. The MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Myles Sr., CEO, Chairman, Founder of the Minor Football League. The day is Friday. It's a cold day. I don't know if you are down in the South. I guess y'all still soaking it up. But me and Keith can't say that up here in D.C. because it's cold up here. Also, I have my GM here, Mr. Thirston Hall from the Texas Cardinals. How y'all doing, gentlemen?
How you doing, sir?
Cold. What about you, Keith? Can you hear us, Keith? Unmute yourself, Keith. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Keith. I guess you have to come back on. How you doing, Mr. Hall?
I'm doing great, Mr. Myles, sir. How you doing today?
Okay, I see you with your shirt on there, huh?
Yeah, we had to go ahead and kind of, represent a little bit.
Absolutely. We always, as you know, we're excited about, we got the deal done in terms of the apparel, so we're glad now we don't have to go do that, and we appreciate the people that did support you and do that, But
so appreciate it.
Absolutely, I want to tell them we appreciate that. But we get ready to get off in a couple of, around the second week, the third week of March, we get ready to go out there. The MFL family get ready to do our combine. Now, I know it's kind of difficult for some parts of the country because it's warm where you guys at. But when you talk about here in the more north and eastern, it's cold. we got a little cold here, but we're going to manage to do what we need to do because we have some indoor places we can use. But the great thing about that is hot all the time with you guys at. I don't think the temperatures get there. What's the coldest to get there in Texas?
Well, I had to say today we were right at 30, 31, give or take. We got a cold front coming in. It's supposed to get pretty nasty. I want to say it's going to hit Saturday night. They said Saturday night through Monday, it's supposed to be down to the teens. And that's usually as cold as it gets. But, man, they done closed down the schools. They're closing down some of the highways. They're telling everybody, if you don't have to go anywhere, don't. Stay in. So okay. I can imagine how it is up there in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. So, that's why I say give us time. We'll be able to come in and go and do combines indoors. I'm gonna bring Keith back. I mean, maybe he got this. Okay, there you go. How you doing there, sir?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. Happy Friday to you. Yeah, technology. I don't know. It must be an omen. I just should be on the show. I don't know what's going on, but no, it's great to be with you. It's always good to see a GM that's on the show as well. Congratulations, Mr. Hall.
We appreciate that, sir.
Making the big move. The MFL, I mean, it is really inclusive. It is really for everyone. And I'm sure Myles is going to want me to ask you how and why you got involved.
Well, I have done a lot of coaching over the years, whether it started out when my kids was young. I started out with the YMCA. I moved on with something we call Pop Warner down here in Texas. We left that and I started doing select football. And then I got involved with something called semi-pro football. And that's what led me to the MFL. And I had to learn a little something about that. So it's no disrespect to to what we call semi-pro football. It's either you're pro or you're not. That was a lot of things that I had to learn about that. So I realized that we was wasting a lot of our talents doing that, and this was a great opportunity. Semi-pro football, what we called it in Texas, MD guys, I hate to say it, and I don't want to take anything from them, but the truth is out there. I had the privilege of working with a lot of great guys, a lot of great coaches, but like I said, these coaches wasn't getting paid. Another thing that the players, they had no incentives. They had no insurance. They go to the games, they had to drive themselves to the game. We had to get uniforms. I had to go out and do fundraisers and stuff like that. There was a lot of things that we had to do to make it work, and they didn't have an organization. It was just like a program, pretty much. And I hate to say that, but that's pretty much what we had. We played on some fields that it was like high school fields. Sometimes there was like old baseball fields where it was a lot of grass birds and stuff. But that's what we did. We made it work, but it was fun. It was just like a lot of weekend warriors, we living things up like that. And a lot of the guys, they wish they could play on a higher platform. And like I told them, I said, one day, guys, there's going to be something going to come through Texas and it's going to shake things up. And then lo and behold, Mr. Myles and the MFL. It was a vision that he has, and I thank God that we have this opportunity. So I can't say anything else but just great things. I mean, it's been a blessing.
Well, Thurston, I totally understand where you're coming from because I've covered a lot of leagues, as I've told Myles in the past, of not just the NFL. I've covered a lot of minor league football systems and some other startups, and even Roger Worley at one time was involved with a minor league football system. Those are all since gone, and Myles is still around. But to your point, yeah, it was high school stadiums and gravel pits and all kinds of other things. And as Myles and I have talked about in the past, there is no semi-pro. Either you're getting paid for it, which makes you a professional, or you're not. So that's kind of a misnomer. The word that's been thrown around, or term that's been thrown around for many, many years. And it's certainly different when you get to this kind of level with the minor football league. Means business, Myles. As you came on board. So obviously the Pied Piper got you listening to the music as well. So there was something there that was different for you, because there are a lot of guys, especially you mentioned Texas. So we'll talk about the state of Texas. I mean, this goes back to almost when they're out of the womb. I mean, it's crazy the way that high schools in Texas put more fans in the stadium than some colleges around the country. And it bleeds all the way up to the college level. Yes. Obviously, not just UT in Austin, but UT in San Antonio and some other programs have done quite well. So Texas means business that way, and it's certainly from a professional level. I commend Myles because he has 3 franchises in Texas, and the NFL I think only has 2. But that aside, it's a matter of serving the community and serving those underserved communities when it comes to football. And Texas is obviously a great state to do that in.
Absolutely. As you know, gentlemen, and our reason for doing that, because geographics, they tell you about, geography, you want to make sure things are geographically make sense, So when I did our feasibility study, MFL, we made sure that Texas is a long trip. If you ever come from the east down there, so it's different. So, and it was big enough to support 3 MFL franchises, because we're in different parts of Texas. Texas is so big. So we have the Rams in Houston, which we're proud of, and then in the San Antonio, we're excited about the Steelers being there. So it keeps it geographically close, you know what I mean? And then, of course, Oklahoma. And then you talk about New Orleans, Louisiana. So there it is right there. That division kind of is close enough where you don't do that cross-country stuff. And I think that's what kills a lot of businesses when you try to do that and not have a real plan to go in somewhere. And I think sometimes when people start, it takes more than money. You have to be, practical and smart and understand, that you're at graphics and where you are. And these are some of the type of things that the MFL did do their homework. And we made sure that, we know that most people with money allow several mistakes. We only allow one. You know what I mean? So we're going to make sure that everything is strategically done right, where we won't have to back out, because gentlemen, and Keith, the worst thing you can do is start something and then have to pull back. Oh man, the people they're ready to cut you in 4 corners, just cut you all up, because they feel like if you start something like this, you better be sure that it's well thought out and well planned, as the MFL is. That's why we've been around so long. And you look at the different divisions, we did, and look at the divisions and where they're at. It makes sense. You know what I mean? The only time you really get to do the big traveling is during playoff time. And that depending on, your record, your conference record is better than the next conference champion, and that'll determine who will play home compared to the other champions. So it was thought out, but we want to make sure that these young men get an opportunity you don't find outside of college or professional football. Because, college, you only limit them that you can stay there. You're eligible to run out. And the NFL is an age thing, you know what I mean? They got so many people want to come in there that now the life expectancy of an NFL player now is maybe under 5 years. You're lucky if you stay in there long, because it's so competitive, they can do that. And but what happens to these other young men that don't even get that shot at all, gentlemen, at all? So, and being a former athlete, and you gentlemen, y'all was a former athlete, it takes 5 years to get it out your system, period. Because it'll take away that if I should have, would have, could have out of your mind. You know what I mean? So you get a chance to perform at a higher level. And more importantly, it takes away that doubt. And more importantly, it gets you to understand that for players, it's beyond the field. Now what after football? Now you have a choice. You can get into coaching. Anything has to do with professional sports. You still in the game or around the game. Most people tell you, even if you're not playing, you want to be around the game and have some affiliation with it. To what level, it's up to you. Even ownership. That's the key to the ownership. And we want people to understand that ownership is there. It is possible. Then you're talking about management. You know what I mean? Front office, GM. Now you're talking about head coaching. These are things that offer here that generally they say is offered to you in other places, but we know it's not. The field is so chunky and so many craters in the field that you break your arm or your neck trying to get to one part to another. But here at the NFL, we want to make sure the playing field is level. Right. In all facets. We want to say, are we perfect? No. Anybody tell you, I'll tell people in a minute, I don't have all the answers, but together we can find a solution to whatever problem we may have. And thus far, with like-minded people with the MFL on board, we're excited about that, and we're excited about a new appointee. We're going to put that out in the paper, but we'll just announce that now. Dr. Freeman will be coming aboard. Is on our board. We're excited about that. We're excited the fact that position he's coming in with. I mean, you're talking about senior VP of our business development. That's big. That's huge. You know what I mean? And Dave Garnett did a great job for us and everything. And hopefully that things happen. We do get older. You know what I mean? We do get older. Instead, we want to take some of that other time and spend it with our significant others. And you often hear me say on the show that we want to thank the significant others, wives, girlfriend, mothers, whatever, for allowing us to do this, because sometimes they take a back seat to this. Even if you're working with you, that's a plus, but they take a back seat to this. And sometimes, it's time to do all you got. You want to go ahead and try to be more understanding on their part, because they really supported us the whole time. But getting back to you, Mr. Hall, I mean, it's just Texas has always been that dark place for me. And let me make sure I clarify this so you don't take it the wrong way. Because I'm an old Washington Redskin fan. We called it the Washington team there. And they used to dread going. I used to hate when they played Dallas. You know what I mean?
Right.
More if they lost to them. That's just something you're born with. But my daughter was in the military out there in Texas. And I had the opportunity to go out there and went to a game. But I was really pleased to find out y'all got a lot of Redskins fans out there.
Yeah, we do.
That? I didn't know that you probably do, Keith. You in media, but you have a lot of Redskins fans out there, man, that they die-hard Redskin fan. I was just the other way here because you have a lot of Cowboys, we call them cowgirl fans here. My reason for saying that Texas is, it's definitely a big something that we wanted to do all the time, and meeting you only really made it even more possible, because you have to have the right people in place when you go out on these different places, because you got to hit or miss. And I think we want to thank you for coming aboard and everything, doing a fantastic job, as with all the GMs we have out there in San Antonio, Mr. David Glasgow, and in Houston. I want y'all to say we definitely appreciate y'all, because now the work beginning to start. Y'all all excited about when we're going to start. Now we get ready to start.
That's right.
Hey, Keith, you should have seen the meeting overnight. Everybody's eyes was getting big.
I am sure.
That's right.
We want to, and there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be prepared and ready to partake in this venture here. And the great thing about it, it's not new. It's new to y'all, but it's not new. And we did have planning on it, and not saying that you still won't see somebody from the MFL coming out there, but right now we have to be very mindful of this COVID-19. And we had a big meeting and everything, because we do send people from the MFL to the camps that we have. But because of that, if you go down in the South, you got to quarantine. Then you got to quarantine when you come back. And these guys have wives and stuff. And then they got to go to work. So we had to be very mindful. And it was a long meeting. That's why I got off our meeting earlier, Mr. Thurston, because then I had that other meeting, and we just don't want to put people in harm's way. But coaches, and y'all understand the drills, and you're going to do. But like I say, we'll try to get out there, but being realistic, we know, I just had to, talk to everybody. That'll be a challenge for us, because different parts of the country, Keith, and you have to quarantine and stuff, because COVID is still there, gentlemen. It ain't going nowhere now. We're not going to be ignorant of the fact that it's there, and we want to be very, very cautious of not only you guys, coaches, and our front office as well when they come down there. Of course, I know everybody want to see us down there. We want to be down there, but also we're mindful and respectful that it is a pandemic, and it is a crack in the armor. And y'all should know, of all people, I take advantage of all the cracks. That's why the MFL is here today.
That's right.
Clean a crack and not jump through it before they can patch it up. So, we want to tell everybody, we'll make sure we broadcast and let everybody know. It's not that when y'all doing the combine that the MFL is, because we have to be very careful of people's health and everything. And, Keith would love to come there in some places, but we don't want to get those guys get sick and come back. Then you got to quarantine. I just don't want to put them in harm's way. But you'll see us, the MFL, we will be at your games. We'll be at the games at least. But
I appreciate that.
we definitely want to be at the combines, but we know that's not realistic. You know what I mean, Keith? So, in saying that, Keith, you want to expand on that?
Well, I think the combines are going to be a very important part of the league. And yeah, as much as I'd like to be front and center, you're restricted by travel, you're restricted by a lot of things, and you don't want to get your league infected in any way. So obviously, you have to be very, very cautious and approach it that way. I think smart. And to the NFL's credit, that they did much the same. I think you got to be really careful. I'm anxious to see it going forward because the combine, as we've known it in Indianapolis, is not going to happen, and there's going to be a lot of virtual things and a lot of school workouts of the players. But the whole dynamic, the whole landscape has changed that way. But from the MFL standpoint, I mean, it's interesting what Myles was talking about because it's the 25-year plus overnight success story. But we've seen it. I covered the XFL last year, the second reiteration of the XFL, and it wasn't even one and done. Never got through the season. So there were a lot of guys that played. A few of them made it to the NFL, but a lot of guys are looking for football opportunities once again. And the XFL has already said they're not coming back until next year. So you have that window of opportunity for the MFL, and you never know where your next player is coming from.
That's right.
Heineke, who got signed to a 2-year contract with the other Washington football team, was in school, trying to get his degree in mathematics, and now he's going to be a full-fledged NFL quarterback at least for 2 seasons. And we saw as he was picked out of Old Dominion University, where he was going to school, and put in a uniform for the team formerly known as the Redskins, how good a player he is. So Taylor Heineke could have a huge career in the NFL going forward. You don't know. These guys, if GMing was so easy, then a lot of people will be able to be more successful at it, picking the players and figuring out. And whether you love or hate the guy named Tom Brady, the picture of him basically from his tryout, if you will, a lot of guys have on their shirts for the Buccaneers, because here's a guy that went 199th in the draft, drafted in the 6th round, and will probably end up being perhaps the greatest quarterback ever to play the game, at least in the NFL. So that's what you have. You just don't know where the next guy is coming from. So these combines are super important, but safety first is where we want to approach it. And I commend Myles on this as well, because he's been like that the whole time. But the thing, Thurston, about the MFL is the wheels never stop turning. So even though you can't get in front of players and you may have to review them differently, you still need to do business. You can pick up the phone, you can pick up technology, you can do a Zoom call, or you can do a FaceTime, whatever it is, and you can still do business. And that's one of the great respect items I have for that guy up in Rochester that just got added to the board. That just it's like everyone just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
You have to do that. It's the same thing with walking to running or crawling. You have to put one foot in front of the other and just keep going, and you do get there. And that's one of the things I greatly admire about this league, because of the longevity. You don't see a lot of that. And whether you've known about it for 10 years, 5 years, or 5 days, it doesn't matter, because as Myles will tell you, the MFL is here. And that is a true moniker, because he's a man with a plan. He's on a mission. He continues to surprise people and continues to evolve the league. So you're in a good spot. The fact that you heard the Pied Piper and joined in his lead, says a bit about what where you're at. So
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
And absolutely, remember, gentlemen, your guys, you are already there. Your coaching staff there. You can put the combine on. You know what I mean? And
right.
Y'all gonna select the players anyway. The MFL was gonna be there because you are MFL franchise, and we was there to represent it. Of course, Keith would have been there to cover it, do all they're right up on the league and stuff. And what I can say, even when we missed the combine, you got a few months you're gonna be in camp. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We get a chance
That's right.
they'll get a chance to see us and everything and take pictures with them and everything. But in all seriousness, we want them to understand that we want the coaches to do it. Now your defensive lineman, your defensive line coaches, they can evaluate the D line. The offensive line coach evaluate the offensive line. And, these things can be done. We always say improvise, because a lot of people understand combine is just basically for agility drills and stuff, technique drills. We always say, the old saying is, if you ever had it, you'll never lose it. You know what I mean? So these are the type of things that we just want to see if you had it. We don't want somebody to come out there. No, they shouldn't be out there. But you can't give them an opportunity and not give them an opportunity. You know what I mean?
Right.
See what he did, then they're gone. So it's very important that we understand, and players, we know you guys are excited and stuff, and as you know, players, they just want to play football. They don't understand all the other things that all these other components go into this. You know what I mean? It's not just tackling and catching a pass. There's more to it than that, especially with the front office. As you can see, Mr. Thurston, you see there's a lot of things behind the scene they do not see that's going on. And as Keith said, the wheels always turning here. The wheels always turning, and we want people to understand that the coaches for the respected franchises will do the combines. You know what I mean? We'll see them in camp. The ones you do sign and stuff, remember, you still have a couple of months of camp. We'll be able to get there. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Get there and stuff. So more importantly, you get a chance to select your players, give everybody an opportunity, and then select your players to start putting your system. Because I'm telling you, just selecting players, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not the real hard thing. The hard part is when you get them in there, and then they got to learn the system. You understand? They have to learn the system that you guys are running. They have to bind to it. They have to understand. Now we're talking about you coming from that little turf field to almost like similar to a classroom, because now you got to look at things on the book. You understand? You have to get the concept down. You have to understand, the different systems. Then you go back out to the field again. But by then you would understand what you're doing in terms of getting ready for the season. So, and when y'all down down the South has an advantage because the weather is better than up here. We were the crowd in one of these little indoor facilities, but you still don't need that but a 60-yard field. You know what I mean? Because you evaluate people, and you don't evaluate them all at one time. And the great thing about a bigger field, like a stadium-type field, you can evaluate a lot of people at the same time. You got your offensive lineman over there, linebackers, receivers, all different parts of the field. So you can evaluate a little faster. But it's not to say everybody not going to get an opportunity, because we still going to do 3 franchises. We're still going to do 3 combines. And we want 20 players signed from each combine. They'll give you 60. Now, it gives you an opportunity. Y'all going to have an advantage because you get a chance to get your players now as opposed to up here. But that don't mean they're not going to do anything down up here where it's cold at the east. Because we have some indoor facilities. And I'm on the phone right now. As we speak, we'll be talking with them about going in there and get these combines done. But like I say, we want everybody to know, MFL Nation, that the MFL is about the players and about our staff. Because without you individuals, this cannot go. If the players alone cannot go. They can contribute with the foot, with the plan, the actual plan of the game and stuff, but it's a lot goes behind this thing that's really, really important, and they have to understand what we're doing. So we're excited about it, and we're excited about getting things going. And we did have a few players was going to come on that registered with the MFLs, a lot of them. And I think sometimes guys forget the time zones and where they're at, Keith. I really think so, but I think we got one. We got one popping on right now, so we get ready to bring him aboard. But the great thing about this is, let me bring him on, because I know Keith, y'all have a lot of questions to ask. You know, how you doing, young man? You made it, huh?
Yeah, finally. I read Central Time when it said Eastern. So
What I say, Keith? What I say? Well, let me introduce you to. We had the general manager from the Texas Cardinals. Doing a great job at that Thirston Hall. You see him there, and
How you doing?
pretty good.
We have Keith Jones here. He does the media for up here in Washington D.C. and with the MFL. And we're gonna keep on to just go ask some questions. And what do you think about this? Because I know when I talked to him on the phone, he said, "I didn't know this was going on." About the league. So go ahead and ask him the question.
So I saw Malone on some social media postings, and I know you got some either video or stills of him, Miles. I don't know. I saw it across my desk on that. So, Mr. Malone, obviously you got years of football experience. Tell us a little bit about your journey to get here and your interest in the MFL.
Yeah, I played 3 years of high school ball. Well, I played 12 years of, growing up playing football plus high school ball. And, I wasn't aware that this was even a possibility or a thing. So whenever I got out of high school, it kind of just died off for me. And I was scrolling through the internet and saw this, put an application, and he literally called me not even 2 hours later. And,
Yeah. So where are you based, and what's what kind of position player are you?
Say that again?
Where are you based, and what kind of position player are you?
I'm based out of Slidell, Louisiana, and I play all over the line, but I would like to play defensive nose or tackle.
Nice. Slidell. That's a nice little breeding ground for some. There's some players that have come out of that part of Louisiana.
Right. Well,
Mr. Hall, you have some questions.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Now, I was looking at, I think I saw some videos on you as well. You say you like defense mostly. I'm like, so this guy, how tall are you?
6'5".
6'5". Well, guess what? I know you say you're from Louisiana, but Louisiana ain't that far from where we are. I know we got a team down there, but you may want to start looking up this way. We could definitely use someone of that caliber. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and have to sit there and kind of get you kind of slide on down this way. We would like to have you. Let's say, what you think you're running the 40?
I remember in high school it was a little under a 5, but yeah. But with a little bit of getting back into shape, I'm pretty sure I can get it down to. Yes, sir.
No step from high school to college. What happened in that transition, and how long you been out of high school?
I've been out of high school 4 years now, and I didn't have the money to go into college or go to a college and stuff like that. And I had my daughter, and then just got a job. Life moved on for me, and I was blessed to find this online because it actually gives me a chance to play again. And
nice. You're like 22 years old.
24.
24.
All right, 24 is still. I mean, that's still pretty.
Yeah.
That's still pretty prime stuff. So
I love to be that age, young.
Right. Well,
when you had an opportunity to look at everything, and we do get back to people, and I'm glad you said that on the air, because we make sure when guys register, we get back with them. Our staff are calling right back. Like you said, you were surprised to hear, because we want everybody to understand we value all of you guys as athletes, and we're going to treat you like, athletes, professional athletes. That's what you are. But more importantly, we want you to understand that we want you to really get to experience what the MFL is doing, because the MFL is doing some great things. And I'm not saying that Because as you see, you have a chance to go do everything and look at everything. And I know the more you look at it, the more unreal it seems they've gotten, right?
Yeah.
So when you, what does that say to you and an opportunity? Because I tell people all the time, with your size and everything, and I always tell people, it's not that you're not good enough to play; it's not enough room, and that not only talking about the NFL, but we talk about college too. Sometimes, a lot of guys fall into the cracks. You know, a lot of them fall into the cracks. If you learn about history, then history will repeat itself. If you look at J.J. Watts, you know, they started making commercials. He used to deliver pizzas in college. Did y'all know that? I'm quite sure.
I didn't know that.
And man, he went from that to being an all-pro in the NFL. But
Right.
I recall when he used to deliver pizzas. Now, who's the So, you know, I always tell people, life is what you make it. You know what I mean? And I commend you, young men like yourself, that you didn't just sit back on the couch. You know, the MFL is here. We are the laboratory of change.
Change.
And we want people to understand we're going to give you an opportunity that other league will look at you. But more importantly, if they don't, this is a wonderful league, a very professional league. And we do have ties with the Canadian Football League. We do. And up there, I mean, you know, it's in other words, your future is really not what you didn't give up on yourself. Go to a little history, and I'll let Keith expand on Kurt Warner working in the supermarket.
Yeah, he did.
Then it just goes to show you is what you do with your life makes all the difference. Now, you coming in the MFL is one thing in the NFL. The premium is what, Keith? Lineman. Huh?
Yeah.
Lineman, right, gentlemen? That is
Yes,
in
sir.
the NFL. And right now, they always
Look for linemen.
I remember when Jacoby came in, everybody didn't know he came in as a defensive lineman. They moved him to offensive tackle. He made All-Pro 3 Super Bowls later.
Undrafted free agent, by the way.
Undrafted, that's right.
So, you know, these things are possible, gentlemen, and that's where that bridge is we're bridging the gap now. That's what was missing. Because after college, okay, then what? Okay, yes, cool. You did good, you went to job and stuff in your case, I understand that. But it was no connect there. You know, now the MFL is here. You say, okay, now keep in mind, gentlemen, we're not robbing no high school. We tell people, you just come out of high school, this ain't the place for you. Go to junior college, you go to something, then we'll allow you to play. But you're not going to just come here and say, I'm going to run in and play. It's not like that, because you're going to come across guys that play Division I ball. You're going to find yourself meeting guys with your size and everything. And but you're not ready, you know, you can have, you know, if you're not ready mentally and physically, you know, then that's not a good show. But we want people to understand the significance of the MFL. I'll let you expand, Keith, and then I'll let Mr. Thirston Hall expand as well.
No, you were pretty good there, Miles. You know, that's it. I mean, it's really the MFL is the land of opportunity for those who either want to try it again, or those who haven't had the opportunity, like yourself, Kevin, to get out on the field, who had some skills in high school. And there are certain states, because Mr. Hall and I were talking a little bit earlier about Texas. Louisiana is one of those states as well, not quite as football prominent as Texas is as a state, but there are pockets like Slidell, where you come from, that, you know, produce some guys that you say, what the, you know, then they get out there and they you know, and they don't always end up in Baton Rouge. You know, they sometimes they get overlooked, and we see it all the time. And before you came on, Kevin, we were talking about Taylor Heineke, who's the newer member of the Washington football team at quarterback. who was at Old Dominion studying for his degree in mathematics. And while he came in as the quarantine quarterback, proved himself, and now they're giving him a 2-year contract. So he's secured at least for a couple seasons. And the way this young guy looks, he could have a long career in the NFL. Nobody knows. General managing is not easy, and guys get overlooked all the time. So for you to take the initiative and to apply online and such, that speaks volumes about your want and the kind of person you are. How did you find the MFL? You were just applying?
To be honest, I was looking for a semi-pro football league. I was just talking to one of my guys, and he just got out of semi-pro. And it just sparked an interest. It's one of those things I've always wanted to play again. I always wanted to get back out there. But with a wife and a kid and a full-time job, it kind of got hard for me to think about football and stuff like that. And I don't know, I was talking to him, and I got online and it popped up, and I was like, well, I have nothing else to lose. Might as well just put it down.
Right. Well, those are the kind of players that the general manager Hall is looking for, because those are the guys. This is not a developmental league, but it is a developmental league because it allows you to develop beyond just being a player. There's a lot of opportunities in the front office. There's ownership opportunities. There's a lot of different things, because the MFL, even though it's been around for a long time, I call it the 25-year plus overnight success story. If you want to do something in football beyond your playing time, you have that opportunity to do that. But also it allows for those people like yourself that still know that they have something to contribute on the field, to get back in the game and to show people, including yourself, because it's there. And there are a lot of guys that I covered the NFL for about a dozen years. And I've seen some, as Myles said, stories like Taylor Heineke or like Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame now. So going from bagging groceries to the Hall of Fame, that's one of the best stories ever. But these situations exist, and the MFL is just it's a stepping block to whatever you want to make of your career. So I defer to GM Hall, because again, he's looking for guys like you.
That's right. And and I can kind of corroborate on what Dr. Myles and Mr. Keith said. This league is so special because, like I said, we're looking for guys just like you guys that wants a second chance, wants to play at that higher level. This opportunity, the MFL does so much more than what other leagues do. And I'm not trying to talk down any league, but I'm just stating the facts. You're not going to find too many leagues out there that's going to give you the opportunity to come back to play on a higher platform, to hold yourself to a higher standards. And by doing that, it also helps you become a better father being home with your kids. Because when you go out there, when people start recognizing who you are out in your community, because you're a part of it, you're helping to bring change. You also can help bring job stability out there as well, because the MFL, we give opportunity to so many people. Now, when you get out there and you're out there and you're talking to people that recognize you out there, they want to get to know you. They've seen you before, and they're like, wow, I see that you're a part of this. The next thing they do is they may have a son, they may have a grandson, and they'll be like, well, tell me a little bit more about the league. Now, you just help bring more people to the MFL. And if you think about that, I mean, every time you look into your daughter or your son, you look at them because you hold yourself up higher standards, because you feel proud that you still have a second chance to do something that you love to do, something that you felt like you didn't have this opportunity before. And so like in semi-pro football, they're not going to, and I'm just saying, I know you played it, I've coached it. And my guys, we never got a chance to go out there and do community service, to get out there and really get to know people. It's not that you're in trouble. It just said that we hold our guys, our athletes, to higher standards. And I can tell you that the MFL, we look for guys just like you who want to become more of an athlete. It's not saying that you're not, it's saying that you are, because you're taking that chance and you haven't given up. And the difference between being a ball player and an athlete, a ball player, They're going to play on certain days. That's pretty much it. They're not going to go out there and hold themselves to higher standards. They're not going to go out and try to help bring change to their communities. They're not going to go out and try to help someone else find a job inside this league. But guess what? An athlete, that's what they do, on and off the field. And that's what the MFL expects. So when you can do that, that brings more to you and your family. And when people see you, they can hold their heads up and say, you know what? That's my friend. That's my son. I'm proud of him. And the league, that's what we expect. Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm telling you what, I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you today because I see that you look like you're someone that really, really that the league is looking for. So when you out there, you already halfway there. So you're halfway there. And just like they've all said, this is an opportunity to play on a higher platform, to do something great, to follow your dreams. You haven't given up. And this is something that you can just, it's almost like you can go back and say, you know what? I done this. I succeeded. Even if you don't make it to the NFL, you still have an opportunity to get a job inside the MFL. And that's huge. If you can get a job one day, it's like you said, from the field to the front office. Other leagues don't give you that. The semi-pro don't offer that. Trust me, I coached it. I know. They don't offer you that. If you get hurt, guess what? We have insurance. You're good. So this league is something special. And we're looking for guys out there just like you who want this second chance, who wants this opportunity, who still feel like they still have something to show, something to have, that they didn't get a chance. They got overlooked, not because you're less talented. They just said they didn't have room. But now guess what? The MFL, we have that room. We have that opportunity for you. This is why Dr. Myles, this is why he formed this league. He had a vision, taking players from the field to the front office, giving them a chance to have a job, to follow their dreams, and to build something special. One day you may want to go back into coaching. One day you might be a general manager. And like they say, the NFL stands for not for long. The MFL stands for what? And it's an awesome concept, money for life. Can you say that? Money for life. That is great. That's a great feeling. That is a great feeling. And Dr. Myles has a vision, and that's his famous words. I love it because I see it. I felt it. My families, they're loving this. This is something that they can look back and know that we're part of something great. So when I tell you firsthand that you're in a good position that you're in, you're on our radar, you get to come to the combine, we're looking forward to seeing you. I'm sure just like any other GM, we're looking forward to seeing you. Tell everybody else that you know, your friends, hey, this is where it's at. This is the MFL. We're here to bring change, laboratory of change. So don't ever think that you don't have it or you can't do it or you don't have it in the tank, because guess what? Our league says you come out, you try, and succeed. So that's one of the things that you can always take with you. And to me, it's gonna make you a better father. It's already made me a better father already, just by me being a GM and where I can deal with things a little more different on different levels. I don't get upset about certain things and get frustrated because I see now there's certain things that ways that you have to approach a situation. You have to think before you do things. So this league, it gives you that. It gives you that power to start thinking, to treat your family better. You don't come home so stressed out because you feel like you feel so proud that you're a part of something that you can hold your head up. And you're out there in your community and you're being special. People look at you every day and they can be like, wow, this is great. This is something that you can actually look at yourself and look around and say, you know what? People never really spoke to me before. Now they're speaking to me because they see what you're doing. They see what you're a part of. And you didn't give up. And when your kids go to school, they want you to come to school. So they say, guess who my dad is? So that's great. So that's what we're doing. So I'm glad to have you come out and trying out for the teams.
Thank you for having me out here.
You have to realize that this is for younger players. We don't want no older guys. That's what other teams made a mistake. Keith.
That's right.
We want the younger guys because that's what the NFL. You know what I mean? They want the younger guys. When you look at the history of this, and I can tell you from experience, they will call, because they always used to call me being here in Washington, that's where the headquarters at. I'm had a linebacker named Tim Johnson. And when the Ravens Hall of Fame linebacker got hurt before he turned the Hall of Fame linebacker, the guy went 52. When he got hurt, the Ravens called us. They said, you still had Tim Johnson there. But when he went back home after the season, his number changed and everything. Tim Thomas was All-American out of Wake Forest and everything. So they knew he was here playing, but that's what happened. The NFL team, they want to scramble and they want to move by. You know that, Keith. I'll let you expand on that. That's what they want. They don't want to look at. They know the MFL is here. What close team that you in that state, which that's something we did. We're the Washington people and the Maryland coach. So we can accommodate both of those in the franchise for what they need. You could go and expand on the Keith.
Well, first of all, Myles, I don't know where you found this GM. That guy's, I think, a little special right there.
Yeah,
nice work. I'm about ready to put my shoulder pads on. A little longer than Kevin, so Kevin played. But you know, it's situation where you are involved with the game, and you never know when that big opportunity comes. Maybe you stay with the MFL, and maybe you grow through the system and become a general manager or become assistant general manager or whatever. Maybe the call comes from the NFL, and you get that shot that way too. You just never know. Again, I go back to Taylor Heineke because he's the most recent example of that. But also Kurt Warner is a fantastic example.
Oh, you have a lot of.
Yeah,
Eric Swan now.
Well, right, but Kurt was playing in the arena football league.
Yes.
So I know that league very well, which is also no longer around. So, you know, these things, the only place that I know of that's still around besides the NFL and the CFL is the MFL. So,
right.
So that's, you know, that speaks volumes that way, but also to the opportunity of that. So that's it. It's what you make of it. And then the opportunity, you know, Myles has come up with a great idea, concept, but he's brought it to fruition. He's brought people on, you know, and the opportunity is there. So it's what you make of that opportunity. So you've taken the first steps, and I commend you on that, Kevin, because it is difficult when you've got a young family and when you've got these desires and you've got these, I'll call them dreams, but you know, you have this unfulfilled part of your life that you know. You're pretty good. You played, you know, you had a friend that played semi-pro. Well, you know, maybe he's going to join you in the combine tryouts or what have you, because obviously you had a lot of teammates when you played in high school. But it's the fact that you've taken the steps to say this is my next opportunity, and who knows how big it could be for you.
Absolutely, and I always tell people all the time, timing is everything. Being at the right time. Not piggybacking too much on what he said, but it's true. Heineken was living Redskins had to get somebody off the street. They were depleted in quarterbacks. They didn't get panic. And the way the offensive lineman was almost the same thing with them. They, you know, linemen going down, and lineman is a premium. You know, you can get a job, man. You know, the big guy they bring in the camp, man. Because I'm telling you, and once you get in there, all you want to do is get the opportunity. That makes sense. That's all you want. You just want the opportunity. But you have to position yourself to be able to get that opportunity. Here, we're going to position you because here, we're going to every team in the National Football League don't know where you at. If they never heard of me, they're going to hear you now.
I heard you now.
And more importantly, they understand you don't have to go nowhere. You know what the franchises are. You have a franchise right in your neighborhood.
That's right.
We you know, joking about having you, but then again, he wasn't joking. He's serious. As what all of them would be. But the reason for putting these franchises what we have because we don't want guys travel. When I started watching Chiefs, we used to have guys come from all over the country, California and everything. That's why that team was so good. But the problem is that you're taking people away from their family members. They got to make a choice. You got to leave them behind. And some of the wives and them ain't going for that. But that's why the concept was to put these franchises in areas where there is no football, no professional football. That's I'm not talking about that. When I get through, that stuff gonna be in the past. But think with your size and everything, you don't see you. They're gonna say, because remember, this is the professional developmental league. They see a big guy like you, all they want is, okay, we can work with that. Let's get him. Let's bring him in. You have type size, and that's what the NFL. I used to call it NFL three-ring circus, and people say, why you say that? Because they like little guys can do what a big guy can do, and they want big guys able to do what a little guy can do in terms of your footwork, your technique. You know what I mean? That's what the NFL is. Believe me, I know. I've been there and did that. So when I say that to you, it's very important that we get these young guys coming out of college. We don't want you to get down. You have a place to come. Yeah, the MFL will come to. Now, for those that don't come and they mad because they feel like the face look like a lemon, they're stepping on the lemon, that's your fault. The NFL, so what? You know, so many great guys that came to this league, the history of this league, and a lot of people, we were just talking about the guy, but where y'all think Eric Swan comes from? See, a lot of people haven't heard him till he got in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Covered to Eric Swan.
Right.
And all pro and everything. But you have to look at it. You have to put yourself in the position to be seen. You know, what you're playing is out of sight, out of mind. You know, no one sees the potential you had if you're home. No one can see the potential you had. You know, you have to be put in a position. That's what the NFL does. We provide an opportunity you don't find outside of college professional football. That's the NFL. You know, and you know, I see guys like you young guys, that's what we want. We want young guys. I don't want no guy playing in the league 5, 6 years. Because if he still was good, he'd still be there. You know?
That's right.
We want young guys like you to go to y'all and say, hey, look what we have here. You know, and we have some great people. Jamie Dukes, as you know, if you don't know, he played in the NFL for years. And you know, we still talking to our buddy, but nobody better than Warren Sapp teaching people how to put your hand in the dirt. You know what I mean? We have people here, but more importantly, we want everybody to understand the NFL is the young guys going and let them know like yourself. You know, I know you were surprised. We said, come on the show. You know, you come on the show. Because we want people to know that, hey, now you be surprised all the people that watch NFL, inside the NFL, they're going to see you. Some of your friends will say, wait a minute, can we see you on the NFL show? See, there you go. You're out of sight, out of mind. Then you get an opportunity, believe me, and the NFL goes back to when you was in elementary school. Believe me, they do a job. They follow you. Now they were responsible, but what happened? Now they say, oh, we don't want people to come home and so-and-so was an All-American. He went to such a college. But what is he doing now? Oh, he's hanging out with his buddies. They drink beer. But take this scenario. He's playing in the MFL now. What? Let me go check my man out. Man, he was like that, you know, high school or college. Do he still have it? Yes. Now you get a chance for everybody to come and see you. You know what I mean? You're in an environment, not nowhere for people cussing and throwing bottles and talking to people on the side, smoking cigarettes. We don't play that. Yes. What you see in the NFL, we end up with a carbon copy. The only difference is we are the laboratory of change. Meaning we put things in place that the NFL don't have to because they're too complacent. They've been around for 100 years. They don't care about doing nothing different. Why should they? But the NFL, we are providing that opportunity. You have anything, young man? So I know you will make sure we get some words and we like your thoughts.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything, you kind of answered all my questions with everyone that's speaking today, but I mean, I'm just eager to get on the field and show what I have, and like I said, this is it. This is either my shot to do it or just go back to work and do my 9 to 5. So I'm gonna give it all I have. And
but the great thing about it, everybody, your people on your job, your people in your community, everybody coming. Because you know why? Because of you. Man, do he still have it? Big guy, he should be playing football. Now you're doing that, huh, Keith? That brings everybody, huh?
Right. Kev, you get a chance to show them what you mean when people were doubting and people saying, "What do you mean you think you still have it?" You know, you got to have the opportunity to show them that you do or don't. But with your drive and what I'm seeing initially in our first conversation, I think you're the right man, the right time, in the right spot.
Absolutely. And gentlemen, before we leave, I want to say I want to thank my guest, my GM. Keith, you ain't no guest, but and I want to thank Keith. I want to thank the young man for coming on. But I want everybody to know this has been another edition of Inside MFL. You can always look us on our Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can find the MFL. And we're getting ready to kick off the 2020 season. We're all getting ready for the combines, which will be in March, and everything will be going up about the combines. And I want to say thank you to my guests. Thank you, young man. We look forward to seeing you. You've been watching another edition of Inside the NFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Myles Sr., and I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you.